On a quiet December afternoon in 1945, 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers lifted off from Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale for what was supposed to be a simple training mission. The weather was calm, the visibility was good, and Flight 19, as it was designated, was led by an experienced pilot, Lieutenant Charles Taylor. Nothing about that day suggested that this training flight would become one of the greatest aviation mysteries in American history. The squadron moved east over the Atlantic, flying in formation as they practiced navigation and bombing runs. The mission was routine, the same one thousands of pilots had completed during the war. But as the hours passed, radio transmissions from Flight 19 began to sound strange. Lieutenant Taylor reported that his compasses were malfunctioning. He told the IZO control tower that he was unsure of his position, describing the ocean below as unfamiliar. Radio operators tried to guide him back, but Taylor's replies grew more confused. He insisted they were over the Florida Keys, even though radar suggested otherwise. Minutes turned into hours. Fuel levels dropped, the sun began to set, and the voices from Flight 19 grew more desperate. "We can't tell where we are," one pilot said. "Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look right." Then the radio went silent. The 5 aircraft carrying 14 men were simply gone. The Navy immediately launched one of the largest search and rescue operations in its history. More than 200 planes and ships were deployed, sweeping across the Atlantic in every direction. Among them was a massive PBM Mariner rescue plane with a crew of 13 men. But as the search continued into the night, something extraordinary happened. The rescue plane itself vanished. Witnesses on a nearby ship reported seeing a sudden explosion in the distance, a fireball that lit up the sky for a moment before fading into darkness. Debris was never found. In a single evening, 27 men disappeared without a trace. As the days passed, the official investigation grew more complicated. No wreckage from Flight 19 was ever recovered. No bodies were found. The Navy struggled to explain what had gone wrong. The final report stated, "Cause unknown. Flight lost at sea." A phrase that only fueled the mystery. Families of the lost airmen demanded answers, but there were none. Some investigators believed that bad navigation, failing instruments, and worsening weather sealed the squadron's fate. Others pointed to something stranger. The region where Flight 19 vanished is part of the Bermuda Triangle, and Z-Mion's area infamous for unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft. Suddenly, Flight 19 was no longer just a military tragedy, it was a legend. Over the decades that followed, theories multiplied. Some claimed the squadron encountered a rare atmospheric phenomenon that distorted their instruments. Others believed strong ocean currents buried the aircraft too deep to be recovered. There were stories of magnetic anomalies, sudden storms that rise from nowhere, and even strange lights seen in the sky that evening. None of these explanations were ever proven. What made the case even more haunting were the final radio messages. Pilots reported that the ocean looked strange, and that their compasses spun uncontrollably. One message, recorded minutes before the disappearance, said, "Everything is wrong. We can't tell direction." For some, these words suggested something beyond simple mechanical failure, something that pushed the squadron into the realm of the unknown. Modern researchers continue to search for clues. Advanced sonar scans have mapped large portions of the seabed, yet nothing that matches the remains of Flight 19 has been located. Historians argue that the planes may have run out of fuel and crashed far from their last known position, sinking deep into the ocean where recovery is impossible. But others maintain that 5 aircraft cannot simply vanish without leaving a single trace. The mystery endures, strengthened by the fact that the rescue plane also disappeared, doubling the sense of impossibility. How could 2 separate aircraft vanish on the same night in the same region? Today, 80 years later, Flight 19 remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the post-war era. Memorials have been built in Florida, honoring the men who took off for a normal training flight and never returned. Their families never received closure, only silence. The Bermuda Triangle became a global phenomenon largely because of this incident, cementing Flight 19 as the heart of the legend. Yet behind the theories and the stories lie real people. Young pilots who served their country and vanished in an event no one has ever fully explained. Whether their disappearance was caused by weather, human error, magnetic forces, or something truly unexplained, one fact remains. Flight 19 took off into clear skies and was swallowed by the ocean without leaving a single clue behind. And so, the question persists. What happened to the U.S. Navy squadron that vanished without a trace? Until evidence is found, Flight 19 will remain one of history's most haunting aviation mysteries. A reminder that even in the modern age, some secrets of the sea refuse to be revealed.